Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sunday morning. Sunday morning. Dum dum dum. And every day is like Sunday. And I'm easy like Sunday morning. Okay, so those are all the Sunday songs I know right off the top of my head. I've had like 2.5 cups of coffee, so I'm obviously cranking on all cylinders right now. But I got 3 boxes to open up here, and I'm very, very excited. We're going to go through a bunch of books. Probably the books we're going to find in these boxes are all of my Bukowski books, all of my William S. Burroughs, all my Hunter S. Thompson, all of my like Russian and Eastern European authors from 150 years ago ish, and maybe just 100 years ago. I don't know. Let's not be too crazy here. And some poetry that I've held on to, because a lot of the stuff that I either read and I didn't think I would read again, or I read and didn't like. I think I got rid of all those. I think. Or they're in more boxes. But I think these are the important boxes, like the boxes that inspire me, the boxes that like I base all my stuff on. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what we're going to be kind of going through today. And if you're watching this in the future, welcome, and let me know if any of these books are books that you like, that are your favorites, yada, yada, yada. And if you are watching this presently, we will be conversing about said books. So that's fun. So we'll be doing that. So yay. Let's get some of these going. So I have a box right here. This is going to be box number 1 that we go through, and we're going to like it, damn it. I'm very excited. I've been wanting to do this for the last 2 days. And I'm excited. So off with the lid. And yes. Ooh, I wish I could do these in an order that would make sense. Let me see. Let me see if I could trick you guys into thinking that I packed these in a really cool way. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, actually. Maybe. Okay, so we'll do it like that. So first off, I have the Bukowski novels in here. So let's look at those. So we have Ham on Rye. This is Bukowski's childhood, from his first memory up until the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Okay, so this takes you through his childhood, high school, and then the beginning of college. Okay, and there he is right there in yellow, looking like an old man at 17. So Ham on Rye, very good book. Very good book. Then, and these are not in publication order. This is chronologically how they go. And then Factotum, aka the 10-year drunk. This is when he kind of crisscrossed across the country trying to find himself, while just finding himself in little shitty rooms, drunk off his ass, trying not to work and trying to just survive and not die. I guess is the best way to put it. That book's okay. I feel like a lot of people like Factotum who haven't read Ham on Rye or who haven't read really any of his other books. I don't know why, but I find that a lot of people start with this book. I don't know if this book is just an easy book to find, but the cover is really interesting. And I think they should have called it The 10-Year Drunk. Nobody knows what a factotum is. Which I think is just like your resume is what, or it's like you're just a worker being kind of person. Okay, and then that takes us into his 30s, where we get to Post Office, where this was his first novel. This was the novel that put him on the map, kind of thing. And this is about his 12 years in the post office. This is the first book of his I ever read. It's a great book. I love it. It's really silly, like when I go back and look at it now, because there's a lot of like memorandum and letters from the post office to him as little chapters in this book, which is kind of interesting. But it's a good book, and it has the best opening line of any book of all time. Oh, wait, we got to get to it. It began as a mistake. Best opening line ever. Okay. Then we wait 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a second. I'm missing a book. I'm trying to do this in order. Oh, man. I'm going to look a fool. Oh, no. Okay, well, I fucked up. We'll get to it. God damn it. There's a book in between, and then there's Hollywood. Hollywood is a really fun book about him making it and finally being the person that nobody thought he could be, the person that his parents didn't think he could be, and how he is like deals with being in that culture when he never saw himself as that kind of person. Damn it. I'm missing women. Okay, so anyway, so this is Hollywood. This is a great read too. And then finally, Pulp, which is probably his most underrated novel. This is a great book that's super inspired by like Raymond Chandler and Dashiell Hammett, where he is dealing with, and this book came out right after he died, but he's dealing with his mortality and doing so in the form of him being a private investigator, a private dick, on a case, trying to figure out what it all means and what it's all about. It's hysterical, it's action-packed, and it's funny as shit. Like, really, really good stuff there. Where? Okay, so I can't find women right off the bat. So that's okay. So we'll come back to that. It's in here somewhere. We'll find it. Okay, so we have the novels. We will put these off to the side. Okay, so now let's start going through his, actually, to make room in this box, let's go through his short story and essay collections that City Lights put out, because there's only a couple of those. So the first one here is Portions from a Weinstein Notebook. I don't know if there's a bad Bukowski book. I know that sounds a bit odd considering he wrote so many books, but I honestly think all of his stuff is like amazing. And this is great. Like the City Lights books are often like kind of look past, because the Black Sparrow / Echo HarperCollins books are everywhere. But a lot of the City Lights books are really, really cool, because typically I'll show you what City Lights books you're going to find at any bookstore, but like books like this, you're not going to find. Like, I mean, you're going to find it, but you have to look a little harder. This is probably an online purchase for you. Like, I don't think you're going to run into this at Barnes and Noble or mom and pop's bookstore. And then the next book like that is Absence of a Hero, or Absence of the Hero. What does this say? Uncollected Stories and Essays, Volume 2, from 1946 to 1992. Oh, and Portions from a Weinstein Notebook is Uncollected Stories and Essays from 44 to 90. Okay, so they're basically the same time period, give or take. So these are great books. But again, like, it's going to take you a hot minute to find them. Let's see. Do I have all those right here? Yeah, let's go with these, because these are also fantastic. Let me get all these out. Okay, so these ones here, these are the Back to the Machine Gun, the manuscripts. And I believe somebody at Bukowski.net put these together. I'm not 100%. But as you can see, I have like marked the crap out of these books. These are the like transcriptions of his original poems that he sent out to magazines, the carbon copies and stuff like that. Everything that was in the I don't know if it was in the Black Sparrow thing or if Bukowski did this himself, but at UC Santa Barbara, they have all of Bukowski's papers in their library. And these were all transcribed from there. And that's kind of how everybody found out that after Bukowski died, John Martin was rewriting Bukowski's work and putting it out, which is a whole other video for another day. I think I've already done a video on that. But these books are how we found out that that was a thing. And these books you can get on lulu.com. I think I paid $7 each for them, and they're great. Like, it's like, this is Manuscripts Volume 1 from 1959 to 1974. Volume 2 from 75 to 77. That was like his like off the charts years right there. And then 78 to 80. Because most of the stuff that came out after his death was just the plethora of shit he wrote during that period. I think they were going to do another one of these. I don't know if they ever did. I should check and see. If you know, leave it in the comments down below. Jimmy, what is up, bro? How are you doing? It's always good to see Jimmy in the chat. Jimmy in the chat. Jimmy in the chat, everybody. Jimmy in the chat. Okay. And then just to get this one out of here, this is the screenplay for the movie Barfly with Mickey Rourke and, oh my gosh. This is the face they paint Faye Dunaway on. Yeah, there she is. Boom. The movie is pretty good if you like movies like that. But this movie is basically what they were making, like his book Hollywood. He wrote that book originally because he wanted people to know what this movie was supposed to be like. So there's obviously going to be some like differences and stuff, but it's all the behind the scenes stuff. Like there's the Mickey Rourke character, the Faye Dunaway character. It's like Hollywood's a great book. So if you're going to read Hollywood, either go watch Barfly afterwards or like read this like towards the end of Hollywood or right after Hollywood. It's a real interesting going back and forth. Oh, I have coffee and wine all over the cover of this. I don't know if you could see that in that thing, but yeah, but it's in script form. Oh, that was terrifying. Okay. So that book's, I'll put that in with the novels. Fuck it. Fuck it. Okay. So now we're going to start going through the poetry collections. Okay. And, oh, and it just gets bigger, Jimmy. It just gets bigger. Yeah. That's what she said. All right. So here's the deal. If you have looked at my playlist for the Bukowski Book Club, all the books I'm going to show you right now, we've already gone over in the Bukowski Book Club. So if you're interested in any of that, please go back and watch those. So his first poetry collection that Black Sparrow put out as like an actual release, as opposed to, because they did Terror Street and they did Run with the Hunted, I think. But it was a different Run with the Hunted than the Run with the Hunted that came out in the 90s. Speaking of big, I got the Musashi novel reprint with new cover art recently. What book is it? I'm not sure if I know it. Is the cover art cool? So anyway, the days run away like wild horses over the hills. Okay. So this was his first wide. I mean, and before that, you had Crucifix, the Samurai. Nice. You had Crucifix and a Death Hand, and it catches his heart in its hands, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes here too. So the days run away like wild horses over the hills. I don't want to say it put him on the map, because he was kind of already on the map, but this book, I think, legitimized him as an American poet. Even though like Lujan Press was already putting some of his stuff out. Like Black Sparrow ended up just being a better ran publisher, if that makes sense. Okay. Oh no, these are going to be all out of order too. Shit. Okay, so we're missing Mockingbird right off the bat. Let me see if I could just scoop in here and find it. Is this it? No. Nope. Oh my gosh, it's not in here. That's not good. Anyway, that's okay. We'll come back to Mockingbird. Mockingbird Wish Me Luck was the second one. And then we have Burning in Water, Drowning in Flame, which has at Terror Street and Agony Way, Crucifix in the Death Hand, in a Death Hand, and it catches his heart in its hands. Not all of it, but selections from those with his new collection, Burning in Water, Drowning in Flame. And these are poems from, again, through that period, 55 through 73. Great book. Highly recommend. All his early, I mean, yeah, I recommend a lot of his stuff. Okay, there we go. Then we have the one he's probably most known for, Love is a Dog from Hell. Even though I don't think this is his best poetry collection, this is the one that most people gravitate to. And it's probably because it's a relatable title. Like people are like, oh, yeah. But yeah, so this we also did in Bukowski Book Club. One of my favorite ones, Play the Piano Drunk like a Percussion Instrument Until the Fingers Begin to Bleed a Bit. It's a real slim volume of poetry. This is probably his only slim volume of poetry that Black Sparrow ever put out. So that one is there. That's a good one. Dangling in the Turnforsha. This probably isn't my favorite collection of his. And I think it has to do with the way the book feels. This book feels worse than any, like in your hands, it feels worse than any of his other poetry collections. But this has some of my favorite poems he ever wrote in it, like The Piano Player, which is like one of my just absolute favorite poems. Yeah. And then War All the Time, which is like, once we get into the 80s, he's on fire. And like his stuff is just like, you can't touch it. Like his stuff is so good. So War All the Time, great book. And then we have, what book comes next? Yeah. Then you get So Alone at Times that it just makes sense. This might be my favorite poetry collection of his altogether. My favorite is Tom Waits reading Nirvana. That's so cool. It is so cool, dude. And if you want to see like Tom Waits reads a bunch of his stuff in Born Into This, and if you have the DVD of it, there's like more extras where more people are reading stuff that they didn't have in the film. Okay, and from there we have oh, here's Mockingbird. Yeah, Mockingbird, Wish Me Luck. This was the second one. Great one. Did this in the book club too. And then here's my other copy of Septuagenarian Stew. So now I have two of these. I'm trying to see what notes are in here. Not many. This is probably the only book of his pre his death that I didn't mark the hell out of. But I have another copy that I've marked the hell out of. So I guess this is the one I'm going to be giving away. I'll do a giveaway because I have another copy of this. So we'll do that. And then The Last Night of the Earth Poems. This was his last new poetry collection before his passing. This is a monster. Probably his biggest, 405 pages of amazing poems of him like accepting the fact that he was dying. Great cover art. It's like, this book is just so fucking good. It's such a great book. And then look here, guys. I found Women. Oh no, it's all bent. Oh, those movers, dude. I swear to God. I don't know how that happened. We're gonna have to fix this real quick. Do a little bit of a foldy. They dog-eared my back cover, guys. God damn those people. Anyway, Women is the novel that he wrote in between, like chronologically in between Post Office and Hollywood. Actual writing, this is the book he wrote in between Factotum and Ham on Rye. This is the book about his rise to fame, I guess, like getting out of the post office, becoming a working poet. And for the first time in his life, he's like 50 years old. And for the first time in his life, women are attracted to him and throwing themselves at him. And he has absolutely no idea what to do with that, and completely makes an ass of himself over and over and over and over and over again. Oh, how does this one start off? This one has a pretty cool line too. I was 50 years old and hadn't been to bed with a woman for 4 years. I had no women friends. I looked at them as I passed them on the streets or whenever I saw them, but I looked at them without yearning, without a sense of futility. I masturbated regularly, but the idea of having a relationship with a woman, even on non-sexual terms, was beyond my imagination. Jesus fucking Christ. What a shit show. And then it has the best last line out of any book, too. I opened him a can of Starkist solid white tuna, packed in spring water. Net weight 7 ounces. That's it. Oh my gosh. That's why people compared him to Raymond Carver. Just how abruptly he would end his stuff. Never mind, we don't need to talk about that right now. What's next? I'm so excited. Okay, let's do some short story stuff. Okay. So if we go through the Black Sparrow short story collections, South of No North, this is a great collection. Everything I'm going to say, this is great. This is great. Loneliness, Bop Bop, Against That Curtain, You and Your Beer and How Great You Are, No Way to Paradise, Love for 1750, that's hysterical. Maja Threw Up, that one's great. The Killers, let's see, Stop Staring at My Tits, Mister. That's a Western. He wrote a couple Western short stories. Something About a Viet Cong Flag, You Can't Write a Love Story, that's a good one. Some of these are ridiculous. Like Christ on Roller Skates is about like a roller derby team trying to get popular. I don't know. The Devil Was Hot. That's kind of funny. This Is What Killed Dylan Thomas. That's the story that he wrote about him doing that reading at City Lights, that the Poems and Insults recordings from. So we talked about that in the Bukowski podcast. The Way the Dead Love, All the Assholes in the World and Mine, and Confessions of a Man Insane Enough to Live with Beasts. So those two right there, All the Assholes in the World and Mine, was about his hemorrhoid operation. And they did a chapbook of that. And then Confessions of a Man Insane Enough to Live with Beasts was another chapbook that came out. So those are pretty lengthy bits. But yeah, so that's a really, really good collection. And then probably if you were going to ever pick up a short story collection by Bukowski and you want to know, Hot Water Music. It's hysterical. It's a great book. It's a great collection. Great. Listen to me talk. Less Delicate Than the Locust, Scream When You Burn, A Couple of Gigolos, The Great Poet, You Kiss Lily. Oh my God, that one's so good. Hot Lady. Oh my God, these are so good. Scum, Grief. Not Quite Bernadette. Oh, that's hysterical. That, seriously, the methods of delivery that he uses in some of his short stories are so good. I actually cannot wait to go over this book in the book club. It's going to be really good. And then there's some kind of serious ones like Death of the Father. Praying Mantis is good. Foolin' Marie is good. Yeah, this is just a great poetry, short story collection. If you want to get into because he did kind of everything. He did poetry, he did novels, he did short stories, he did essays, and he did a screenplay. And you can read all of them if you wanted to. So those are the Black Sparrow short story collections. Let's see what else we got in here. Okay, those we won't do yet. That we won't do yet. I guess we could do these. Wait, do I have the other ones in here too? No, I don't. So we could start those. Okay, so honorable mentions as far as poetry books. Hot Water. Oh, wait, let's see. I gave my brother Post Office. He liked it. That's cool. Hot Water Music was his first work I heard of because a band did an album by that title. Oh, really? Was it based on the book or was it just coincidence? Now, these two books that I'm going to show you, these are poetry and story collections that came out after his death, but before John Martin knew he could get away with rewriting all of Bukowski's stuff. Okay. So Betting on the Muse was the first collection to come out after his death there. And this one, oh man. Yeah, this is a big book. This is 402 pages. It feels bigger than Last Night on Earth poems, which is crazy. But this is stories and poems. So there's that one, and then Bone Palace Ballet. And this is just a poetry collection. This came out originally in 97. Betting on the Muse came out in 96. Yeah, that is correct. So this one has 363 poems or pages. So if you wanted to make sure you're reading stuff that is as close to the original as you can, that's where you read, and that's kind of where you stop. Everything you read after Bone Palace that was edited by John Martin, you have to take with a pinch of salt, or get the Back to the Machine Gun books and try to, if you care that much. Most people don't give a shit, so it's not that big of a deal. So that's fine. Because once Abel DeBrito starts editing the stuff for Echo, he uses the original manuscripts as well. So everything's good. So going to City Lights collections and short story stuff, we have Tales of Ordinary Madness and The Most Beautiful Woman in Town. And when this originally came out by City Lights, it was one book like that, and it was called what was it called? Erections, Ejaculations. Is it in here? Does it say? Oh, Erections, Ejaculations, Exhibitions, and General Tales of Ordinary Madness is what the collection with all of these two books together was called. The first Bukowski podcast episode, we went over the Most Beautiful Woman in Town story. But yeah, Tales of Ordinary Madness. These are good. These are solid. There's some stuff in here that is very, because these were a lot of his stories he wrote for like the dirty magazines and stuff too. So these are a little more raunchy, risky, politically not correct whatsoever, problematic. Yada yada yada. So usually when people like say they hate Bukowski, it's because someone, not because they read anything, but because someone they know heard about something that was in either these books or Notes of a Dirty Old Man, which we will get to in a minute. Okay, so what else do we got in here? Okay, so we have more, and we're going to talk about these books in a little bit. So I'm going to put those off to the side and we'll come back to them. And then for the Abel DeBrito books, we have Storm for the Living and the Dead, Uncollected and Unpublished Poems. Great book. Essential Bukowski, just selected and edited by Abel DeBrito. I don't know if there are poems I would have put in this book that he didn't, obviously, and there's some poems that he put in this book that I wouldn't have put in this book, but it's a really good book. Like if you were to pick up a Bukowski book of poetry that you've never read before, this would probably be a wise purchase. Yeah, both of these books are great. And the other books that Abel did were the On books. And I have most of those in another box. But here's On Drinking. This is the last one that came out of the On series. But you have On Writing, On Cats, On Love, and On Drinking. So if you're a cat person, Bukowski was a cat person. And there's a whole book of cat poems that you could look at. So we'll get to those in a bit too. What else is in this box? Then there's just some random stuff in here, like Loving and Hating Charles Bukowski, A True Story, wink wink, by Linda King. It's mainly a true account as best as she can recall. But and I'm not saying his account of their life is a true story either. Like they're both horribly flawed. But yeah, so this is her book. It's filled with pictures and her poetry, which is it is what it is. And her story of their life together. She was basically the first half of the Book of Women, if you want to take a look at that. So that's a pretty cool book. What else do I have in here? And then I got just some random stuff. I have E.E. Cummings' erotic poems and one of my favorite poetry books of all time, Skull Juices by Douglas Blazek. This is probably the best book of poetry I've ever read in my life. I love this book so much. It even has my Pretty Little Bride of Frankenstein bookmark in it because I love it so much. On the cover of Winner of Your Mom's Taught Me Prize for Poetry, the picture of me on the toilet reading a book. This is the book I'm reading. For anyone who's into weird random facts. You can probably find this on Abe. It's out of print. They only made 1,000 of them. You can probably find it on Abe for, when I got it, it was like $20, but I think it's anywhere between 40 and 80 now, from what I've heard people tell me. So yeah, just go to Abe Books and look for that. Okay, so box 1 is done. Let's see what's in box 2. Oh my fucking God. Oh, that's a heavy box, guys. Oh. Let me see. I need to get caught up on these. I'm not sure anymore. Rewrote how. He would, because John Martin was a Scientologist and he didn't drink. And he didn't like all of he loved how Bukowski wrote, but he didn't like how much he wrote about drinking and fucking and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of poems that he would try to take that stuff out of and just like replace it with what he thought was a good line. And it's just so ridiculous. And then there's some poems that are so like all about just drinking and sleeping around and stuff like that, that he would, at this point, like, why even use the poem? Just like write your own poem. Like quit even trying to like take a line. Like he would retitle poems. And just like suddenly Bukowski's talking about like dolphins and like flowers and like just like I think he was also trying to like rework Bukowski's image, trying to make it look like, you know, when Bukowski got old, he turned from his wicked ways. But a lot of the poems that he was putting out in these later books were poems that he wrote in the 60s and 70s. He just wrote so many poems that he never had a chance to put them all out. You know what I'm saying? So he tried to rewrite a lot of history. And even if you watch the Born Into This documentary, like almost everything John Martin says in that documentary is not true. Like it's like a fabricated story of a fabricated story. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know why, but I don't know. It's just one of those things where I feel like John Martin always felt that he was very talented. And he was very talented in finding Bukowski, but he wasn't very talented in a lot of the other stuff he put out. Like basically Bukowski carried Black Sparrow, so John Martin can put out poetry that he thought was really good. And that stuff didn't sell. So whatever. Yeah. But again, being a Scientologist and having to like give most of his money to the church and all that other stuff, like he needed to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that was everyone's appeal to him. And that's why so many people were like, dude, these poems just do not sound like Bukowski, which is how people started digging into the stuff because it seemed like bullshit. And then the cat came out of the bag. Doop, 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 doop. Nope, not this box. We're going to do that box later. What's in this box? Doop, 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 doop. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we have the rest of the Bukowski books here. Okay, here's a bunch of notebooks and art stuff. Oh, and my Kindle. Oh my God, my Kindle. Okay, we'll come back to all of this. I don't know where I'm going to put that. We'll come back to it. Okay, but yeah, so here's my Kindle. It's got like 15,000 books in it. It's pretty cool. Oh, and there's a notebook. Oh my gosh, look at all this stuff. Okay, so yeah, let's do those since we were just talking about those. So we had On Drinking, and then we have On Cats and On Love. And I've done something, maybe I'll do a podcast episode about the Bukowski 100 debacle. We'll talk about that at a later date. But so these are his love poems. These are his cat poems. Those are some of his drinking poems and stories. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh my gosh. Now we're getting somewhere. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're getting somewhere, guys. Shit's getting real. Shit's getting real up in here, and I'm really digging this. Okay. And I think that's all of them. Okay, I think this is the rest of them. Okay, so we had what do you call these? The On books. So we'll put those there. And then the final On book is On Writing. This is a really good book. But a lot of the stuff that's in this comes from his letters, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And I'll show you those here relatively soon. A couple other really great essay, short story type books are these guys. Mathematics in the Breath of the Way. This is probably my most one of the Bukowski things I like go to all the time just to reread parts of, because it's really amazing stuff. Really, really good shit. It's some of his essays on writing. It's introductions that he wrote for other people's books, a couple reviews he wrote for things. What else is in here? Some stories he wrote that came out of like Notes of a Dirty Old Man, criticism, and then there's some interviews. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interviews transcribed in here. So this is a great book. And it has R. Crumb cover art. So does this one. The Bell Tolls for No One. This is more of just random stories. Just more of the dirty Notes of a Dirty Old Man type stories. This book is probably not my least favorite, but I probably read this less than the other like short story books, for sure. Not that there's anything wrong with this. I just don't read this one as much, even though I have like flags all over it. And we'll come back to that in a second. And since we're on City Lights, let's finish this up. So we have Notes of a Dirty Old Man. These are articles that he wrote that were basically, some were articles, some were short stories, some were just musings that he wrote for this LA newspaper called Open City. And then once Open City closed, I think this book just covers the Open City days. when you get to more notes of a dirty old man, I think he's already at the LA Free Press doing the same notes of a dirty old man section, and that made him famous, like kind of like a household name among little metropolitan areas, because those stories got like syndicated. So like the New Orleans Free Press would be like putting his stuff in it, like, and all these other little free press things were doing it. So it was fun. And then finally, the other thing, see, all like when people talk about being an overnight success, like you need all of these things to happen in order for you to get that way. And I've just gone over probably like 5 or 6 different ways that he became an overnight success. But this one was one of the biggest ones. And this was the Penguin Modern Poets number 13 that had Bukowski, La Mancha, and Harold Norse in it. Harold Norse got Bukowski in this book. Him and Harold Norse were pretty tight around this period, and then they had a huge falling out. I have my own ideas about what that falling out was about, and maybe I'll talk about that on a podcast. But this was when most literary people and most normies found Bukowski, because before this book came out in like probably, I don't know, 68, 70, between 70 and 74. When did this come out? 69. Okay. Before this book came out, the only people who knew who Bukowski was were people who read underground newspapers and who read like mimeographed like literary magazines. Like being in a Penguin book, like of modern poetry, like that was like huge. Like that legitimized him to the point where people, like academic people, couldn't ignore him altogether. Now they just talk shit about him. You know what I'm saying? But before they could just ignore him. But now that Penguin legitimized him, now they have to fucking talk about him. So there's that. And then we have the letters. Okay. So we have volume 1 from 1958 to 1965. Volume 2 is 1965 to 1970. Volume 3 is 71 to 86. Wasn't writing as many letters then. And then finally 87 to 94. Now, these are the UK versions of these books that Virgin put out. If you were in America, you got this exact same content in 3 books, and those books were called oh my gosh. No. Screams from the Balcony, Selected Letters. Living on Luck, Selected Letters, Volume 2. Oh no. Here, let me get this out. I need an Echo edition. Not the Black Sparrow editions. Sorry. I'm getting there. Screams from the Balcony, Living on Luck, and Run for the Sun. Now, what I'm going to say about all this is that I just realized that Living on Luck, the letters, Screams from the Balcony, the letters are 1960 to 1970. Which means They might not have the 1958 to 1960 letters that are in this book. So maybe these are a bit different than the 3 big Black Sparrow Echo editions of his letters. So maybe this is a good pickup. I just started collecting these because I got one. I thought it was Screams from the Balcony, and when it came, it was one of these. And so I'm like, fuck, now I got to get like that whole collection. I can't just like have some weird ass book in the middle of these other books. But maybe I'll pick those up just so I have them. There is another book that is in one of these boxes that I haven't seen yet, which is Beer Spit Night and Cursing, the correspondence he had with Sherry Martinelli, who was allegedly the mistress of Ezra Pound. And that's a big book. They corresponded for years. And there's a couple other books that of like Bukowski correspondence, but I don't like, they were by smaller publishers, so those are ones you just have to like dig around and find, because I think there's one with him and Al Purdy. But there are some of the Al Purdy letters in these things. So if you like books of letters, like those are things to take a look at. Okay, so let's get off Bukowski for a little bit and talk about other stuff. We're going to talk about some poetry and some other stuff. Okay, oh my gosh, look at all this fun stuff I got here. This is going to be good. Okay, let's just go through this. So I have some of my City Lights, Pocket Poets books, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, Pictures of the Gone World. This is okay. And this was the first Pocket Poets book. Reality Sandwiches by Ginsberg. This is number 18. This one I really did like. I didn't expect to like it, and I did. So I was very pleased with that. Poems of Humor and Protest by Kenneth Patchen. I really liked this one. This is number 3. And this is cool because it's one of the original staple bound Pocket Poets. This is the 5th printing of it. But so this is what year? 1959. It's a really good book. I liked it. If you could find it, pick it up. Lunch Poems, Frank O'Hara. It's okay. I'm not a huge fan. Howl. It has its moments. And then let me show you this one. Oh, I have a couple things in here. I have a little book by Neely Tchaikovsky from Lithic Press. I love the stuff Lithic Press does, guys. If you want to ever see what like a really sexy press does with their poetry books, check them out. They have amazing shit. And then I have Blue Nose Was 50 to 1 by Jack Michelin. That was, wait for it, signed by Jack Michelin in 1991. He drew a little picture. And then, I don't know, like either he signed it again the next year or I don't know, whatever. But it looks like he signed it twice at 2 different periods. So that's kind of fun. So we'll put those back in there. And then I have one of my favorite books of poetry by one of my favorite poets, Holly Day. You can get this on Amazon. Book of Beasts. It's really good. If you like the poetry I like, and you like my reviews of poetry, and you go, yes, I agree. I like the cut of that. Go pick up at least this book. She has other books that are good too, but Book of Beasts is like the best book of hers that has come out. I've read another book of hers that's amazing that never came out. Stolen Sharpie Revolution. This is just a cool little book about making zines. and stuff like that, and DIY publishing, pick this up, Copy and Destroy. This is a great book if you're into zine making, or at least you want to know about the culture. This is an amazing book. You could get this almost anywhere. And then here's a Jack Mueller book from Lithic Press. Great paper. Great. And then the Boom City Lights Pocket Poets Anthology 60th Anniversary Edition, hardbound. I have come to realize that I pretty much hate like most of the poets that came out of the Beat Generation and the San Francisco Renaissance, which breaks my heart because I thought that that was like the most akin to me. And it just isn't true. But if you want to check out like a wide net of stuff from that period, just get this book. You don't need to buy every little Pocket Poets series book like I have. You can just get this and get a pretty good idea. Because even when I was reading this, there was just some stuff that was okay. But like I never would have read Kenneth Patchen if it wasn't for this book. So like that was a good find. But pretty much everything else that I thought would be a good find, did not compute. This is my favorite Neely Tchaikovsky book, Leaning Against Time. Great book of poetry. And it is signed by Neely Tchaikovsky back in 2005. So that's pretty awesome. And then if you want to see some like really good stuff, run over to Amazon and pick up Poetic Anarchy Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. These are great stuff. Let's see, we got Bunny Wild in all three of these. Yep. Nate Colton, Mindy Simonson, Tim Johnson, Thomas Kropp, Hannah Fletcher, Garrett Carroll, Audrey Lewis, Mike Chaos, Jeff White, Scott Bryant, all sorts of awesome people in there. Good stuff. Here's some more Holly Day stuff. This one's pretty good. Into the Cracks. Good stuff. Oh. And then we got Rollins, One from None. This is the book that got me into poetry that wasn't like Edgar Allan Poe and like singers putting out books of lyrics, even though this is a singer putting out a book of what could be considered lyrics. This was the book that showed me that poetry could be dangerous. This is the book that showed me that I could do it. You know what I'm saying? I was like 14 when I picked this up. I was a huge Black Flag fan. And I remember at the 10th grade poetry reading for my English class where we had to recite a poem. I recited the poem, and I'm going to say it the way I recite it, not the way it's in this book, because I realize I added a little something to it over the years. But I want to take a screwdriver and mutilate my face and find a woman who loves me for who I am, and then say I don't need it and walk away. But yeah, and nobody called like child services or anything like that. They just let me be a weird little 15-year-old kid saying horrific stuff like that. Did you ever watch the Crumb film? Yeah, the Crumb like documentary is amazing. Like if you haven't seen it yet, put that on your queue to watch. That's good. One of the best books of new poetry to come out in the last like 10 years, White Knuckle by Stephen Bruce. Banging book. This is a really good, hard-hitting book of poems. Like Brother from Another Mother, this dude right here, man. Like that's a great book. Check that out. Al Purdy, Poems for All the Annettes. This is a super good book. Chasey, how you doing? Yeah, I have caffeine. And then I have he sent me another one. I think I wrote a blurb for it. It starts with a W, I think. Did that book ever come out? I have a copy of it, but did because he sent me a copy of it. Is that the one you're talking about, or is there another new one? Because I remember him saying that was going to be his last book of poetry. But yeah, so Al Purdy's Poem for All the Annettes. This is a great book. Really good stuff. And it's funny because this is a good book, but it's one of those things where I don't relate to him in his life, but I relate to his poetry as a poet, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but this is a really good book. It came out in probably the late 60s, early 70s, probably 70s. This is when that book came out. Let's see what else we got here. That's my Kindle. That's a notebook. This is more gallery stuff. Oh, we're not done with Bukowski. All you're like, ugh. So here is Shakespeare Never Did This. This is basically a book of photographs with very minimal stuff in it. Some poems, some travel log kind of shit. Bukowski did everything, dude. And this is when he went to Europe, did some readings in Germany, got into a fight on that French TV show, and all that stuff. And it's all documented here. So this is a really fun book. There are two versions of this book, and by net, because it's a Black Sparrow edition. Is this the first edition or the second edition? This is the augmented 1995 edition. So this originally came out. Oh, they're not going to have the original in here. So this came out in the early 80s, and then this is the augmented edition. And I don't know what Black Sparrow did or what Echo did when they re-released this book, or even if they did re-release it. I'm not sure if they did. I think they did. I'm sure they did. It would be in here, right? Shakespeare. I'm sure it's in there. I don't know, but I don't know which version. I'm assuming it's the augmented version. I would think augmented means more, but I don't know. More Holly Day stuff. In This Place, She Is Her Own. I don't like the size of a lot of the Holly Day books. They're unwieldy. I got an ad when you said Stephen Bruce sent you another book. It might have been Wilt. Yeah. That's what it's called. Is that the book you're talking about? Is Wilt the one you're talking about is coming out? I don't know. I don't remember if the book ever came out. He sent me a copy of it. And I think I wrote a blurb for him on it. But then we have Bukowski, Bring Me Your Love, with illustrations by R. Crumb. This is amazing. And if you recall in the Bukowski Book Club, the last Septuagenarian Stew video, we did this story. But yeah, so Crumb's illustrations are so good. I can't show you that one. That one's a bit, and I can't show you that one. Okay, we'll just go with that. Crumb's illustrations are amazing, obviously. And then we will be going over this one, There's No Business, in the next Septuagenarian Stew video. Good stuff. So yeah, so these were fun little books that, Echo put them out, but they were originally Black Sparrow little books that were kind of cool. What else do we got here? Oh, we have a Andy Warhol exhibit I went to right there. Got another Blazek book. This one is called Broken Knuckle Poems. This is really cool, like Xerox typewritten book of poems. It's awesome. Oh, this is so cool. And I remember I got like a little catalog of other things I could get from like 1970. And it's got these cool like silk screen prints in it. I should do a book like this, dude. Fuck it. Blazek, dude, for real. Then I have a bunch of broadsides in here of mine. Oh, I have a bunch of mine in here too. Holy shit. I have a Nate Colton broadside here. I have I have a bunch of my broadsides. I have for Bukowski. I have an empty case of Whippets. Dude, I should be putting these up. To Bernie. And Lovecraft built this house. Oh my gosh, look at all this. Oh my gosh, I found some copies of Madness, the little mini poetry collection I put out. Holy shit. Look at that. I didn't know I had any of those left. Maybe I'll put those out. Oh, and then Monique Powell's Tits. I can't remember. I did that for something. Because I only made 16 of them. What did I make those for? I don't remember what I made those for. Made them for something. Oh, there's a picture of me on the can. I remember those went out to the people who contributed to the winter campaign. Speaking of, if you haven't contributed to Seasons of the Muse, go to igg.me/@Seasons of the Muse and check out the campaign for my new poetry collection. It's the biggest one yet. It's awesome. We're funding right now. And then this is just a bunch more art stuff, as is all of this stuff. And then finally, this giant Keith Haring book that I never opened. I was going to open this on a stream and I never did. So maybe we will put that off to the side and do that again. Or not again, but for the first time. Okay. So that's a lot of stuff. Let's put this kind of back because we still have one box to go. Can I get through it? I think I can. There's just a lot of stuff in front of me right now. Let me see if I could kind of clear some of this out just real quick. And I'll try to catch up on comments. The book coming out is Brute. Oh my gosh, I have to check it out. Okay, thank you for giving me a heads up on that. I'll hit him up. Yeah, because I don't see caffeine in here either yet. It's probably in this box. Okay. And all of this malarkey I should have put in first, but I didn't. So there we go. Let's just do that. Okay, so that's fine. So then this box is the next box. Okay, so this is more of just my random literature books that mean a lot to me kind of thing. So obviously Thomas Ligotti's Conspiracy Against the Human Race. It's a great book of philosophy, but if you've read Schopenhauer and what's his name? Zephyr or whatever, you probably already know everything that's going to be in this. Kafka, The Trial, my favorite Kafka book. It's one of my favorite books ever. If you haven't read it and you like Kafka, you're doing yourself a disservice for not checking that one out. And then I have this awesome postcard that I got from JH. Did I get that from JH or did I get that from Keith? Now I don't know. Notes from Underground by Dost. Like this book, and there's another book I'll show you in a minute that I think this is kind of where the starving artist almost comes from, at least the modern day starving artist. But great book. I love this series that did this cool artwork on them. Those are great. What do we got here? The Collected Poems of Kirby Doyle from Greenlight Press. Don't really remember much of this. What else we got? And then we got a bunch of other little Lithic Press poetry books. 1 second. Let me see. Brute. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Let me. Okay. Sorry, just keeping up with everything. So we got two books here, Junkie by William S. Burroughs and Queer. These books should be read together, I think, even though they were, like, Queer was supposed to be the sequel to Junkie, but because of things that happened, the book didn't come out until the 80s. So if you read Junkie and then Queer, you should also read the Yage letters, or like it looks like the Yage letters between Burroughs and Ginsberg, because it's basically talking about the queer period going into Naked Lunch. So I don't have a physical copy anymore of the Yage letters. But yeah, so if you're a fan of Burroughs, like, that would definitely be how to do that. And if you really like Burroughs or you're really interested, the book he wrote with Jack Kerouac, and the hippos were boiled in their tanks, I would read that before reading Junkie. And I don't think I have a copy of Hippos in here either. So Hippos, Junkie, Queer, Naked Lunch. Before you start doing any of the other, like, Nova Trilogy or the City of the Dead or whatever it's called, like, just put all that stuff on hold. Wild Boys, Exterminator, all that stuff, just like push off to the side. I guess if you were really wanting to do some of that, because I think like Exterminator and some of the other William S. Burroughs stuff kind of goes well with Naked Lunch, and even Word Virus. I think Word Virus was all the leftover stuff from Naked Lunch. So if you're really digging Naked Lunch, do that. But Junkie and Queer are much more like linear stories. Like, they're not as like, they didn't do the cut up stuff that he ended up using for Naked Lunch and those other books, and then the Nova Trilogy. Okay. Another one of my favorite books of all time, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson. I have probably like 8 or 9 different versions of this book floating around in boxes somewhere. I have this awesome book of poetry called The Balcony by David Brooks that Alice sent me from Poetry Says and Slee Ricketts. That was really sweet of her to do. Stovepiper. This had Charles Bukowski in it. It's from the 90s. It was a kind of small press publication, but it's got Bukowski, Neely Tchaikovsky, and Steve Richmond in it. It's like, good Lord, that's like my that's my go-to. Let's see what else we got here. Clockwork Orange, another one of my favorites. And then Newt Hampson's Hunger. This is the other book that I think reading this with Notes from Underground, and then maybe if you really like Orwell, Down and Out in Paris and London, if you read those three books together, it really, I think it's inspiring, but it does kind of paint the picture of the starving artist and like me against the world kind of shit. But yeah, but Hunger is like one of the greatest books that was ever written. And I guess I don't think this, but a lot of people, when they talk about Hunger and Notes and even Orwell, a lot of people will put Celine's Journey to the End of the Night in that. I don't do that. But I can understand why. Oh, this is cool. Coolidge and Tchaikovsky in Conversation. This is like the conversation that they had. There's a YouTube video, like a documentary of this conversation, but this is the transcript of it. So it's really, really cool. So take a look at that on YouTube if you want. Teatro Grotesco by Ligotti. This is the scariest, best collection of short stories in the world. Like, I think this is like more unsettling than anything Lovecraft did, anything Poe did, like anything Stephen King did. This, if you want to be unsettled and read some kind of scary stories that are set in a more modern day weirdness, Teatro Grotesco is the best book. And reading that with Conspiracy Against the Human Race, that is the way to go. For sure. A poetry collection from Kyle Harvey. An awesome poem from Keith Phillips. Thanks, buddy. I got to put that with these over here. What else we got in here? Oh my gosh, there's so many books here. Oh, a bunch of Rollins stuff. So The Art to Choke Hearts and Drowning in the Gene Pool. I don't know where I put that other Rollins book. Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. You got to have these. We got Jack Mueller, book of poetry there. Oh, Dream Songs, John Berryman. That's a keeper. You got to have that around. This is the bibliography of published work by Douglas Blazik from 1961 to 2001. This is a very dull read, but for me, this is like fascinating, especially since I really only like Blazik till about 1980. This is like the holy grail. This is how I could find the stuff that I want to read from him. So, like, if you see this ever, I don't know where you would pick it up. Oh my gosh. And then we have Ethan McGuire's Songs for Christmas, friend of the channel, Anarchy Crew. What's up? Yeah. And then we have Caffeine by Stephen Bruce, another banger. Stephen Bruce is great, guys. If you're not buying his shit and reading it, you're missing out. I don't know what any of this stuff is. We're going to use that as a bookmark in that book because I don't understand that. Then we got more Rollins, Black Coffee Blues. Another copy of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Ralph Steadman illustrations. And then I'm not 100%, but I think the rest of this. Oh, wait, no. We have more Rollins. Smile, You're Traveling. Ice Cream. Do I Come Here Often? Black Coffee Blues Part 2. His travel logs are awesome. And See a Grown Man Cry. This one's great too. We'll put that one over there. Okay, and what's this? Is this another Lithic Press book? Yeah. I haven't read this one yet. This one was in the pile to be read. Okay, so now I think the rest of these books in here are the Bukowski books that John Martin edited. Okay, there's going to be a lot of them. So, and these are in no particular order. These are just in the order that I put them in this box in. Flash of lightning behind the mountain. What matters most is how well you walk through the fire. This got big because Biden used that quote, or Biden's wife did, in campaign speeches when he was running the first time. Oh, that's a cool book. We'll talk about this now. The Green Isle and the Sea. An informal history of the alternative press from 1960 to 1985. This is a cool book, but it's told from a bunch of people's point of views who were in the thing, which is cool, but it's not a history. It's like an oral account of people who ran presses and who put out little magazines and zines and stuff. So it wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but it is a cool book, especially since there's not much documenting the history of all of that. Slouching Towards Nirvana by Bukowski. And here's Beer, Spit, Night, and Cursing, the letters with him and Sherry Martinelli. Obviously, that is a book he did. Like, that's not that Martin thing. Open All Night. Now, when you see the size of these books, these were coming out like every year. I've like lost everybody. Nobody cares anymore. The Night Toward Mad with Footsteps. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. I have so much dust on my hands right now. I'm losing my effing mind. The Captain is Out to Lunch and the Sailors Have Taken Over the Ship, with illustrations by Robert Crumb. This book there's a lot of stuff in here that has been proven a little skeptical, because this is basically a journal, like Bukowski's diary, okay, of kind of like not his last days, but a couple years before he died, up until like when's the last entry in here? Oh yeah, this is right before he died. Okay. So yeah, right up to he died. A lot of these journal entries were published in a magazine, and I can't remember the name of the magazine. Oh, it probably says it in the front of the book. No, it doesn't. But anyway, so there were some versions of these entries that were published in a magazine, and that was one of the big indicators that something's up with these Black Sparrow editions. Like, this isn't what Bukowski originally put out in the thing, kind of thing. So again, grain of salt, but this is a really interesting and actually kind of sad book, reading his journal entries. The Continual Condition. I think this is the last John Martin edited book. The People Look Like Flowers at Last. Just look at the girth of these things, man. Come On In. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, Come On In. Oh, yeah, Open All Night is a different one. Come On In. What do we got here? Sifting Through the Madness for the Word, the Line, the Way. All these books came out after his death, okay? Oh, that's a good one. Okay, yeah, so the rest of these are not Bukowski books. Okay, so that's cool. So yeah, so these are all the Bukowski books like that. Elegy for My Beat Generation by Neely. There we go. Oh, Gerald Laughlin's The Firebird Poems. This is a pretty cool book. Lithic Press, Primate Poems by Danny Rosen. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Open City. This was a different Open City, but I think there's a Bukowski something in here, or else I wouldn't have got it. I think. Yeah, the Silver Christ of Santa Fe, which I have in something else. But yeah, so that's where this was originally published. Let me see. And then Drinking with Bukowski, Recollections of the Poet Laureate of Skid Row. I don't think I've actually ever read this. I picked it up. Let me see. Tributes from Raymond Carver, Wanda Coleman, Barry Miles, Harold Norris, Karen Finley, Gerald Loughlin, Neely Tchaikovsky, Linda King, Sean Penn, and many others. So that's pretty cool. I should probably just give this a read. Oh, wait, I started reading it. I just didn't finish it. Okay, cool. So yeah, so that'll go into a to be read pile here. What else we got here? We got Jack Michelin on Valencia Street. I need to read this one too. That'll go there. Can you guys even see what I'm doing anymore? I feel like I'm stuck behind stuff. And this is another Lithic Press book. Curious Salt. Jack Michelin. And then this one is Adam Tedesco Alblaza. It's like a dollar looking thing. It's pretty cool looking. Then we have a Gregory Corso book, The Golden Dot. I'll give this one another go after that awful gasoline book I read. And then finally another Tchaikovsky, Hang On to the Whatever River. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. Got some stuff in there. What is this? Is this a magnet? Oh, it is. That's adorable. Okay, cool. So yeah, so let me put a bunch of these books away because I'm feeling claustrophobic. I'm kind of about to have a freak out, if I'm honest. Yeah, we're gonna put this back. We're gonna leave those out. Let's start putting all these back. Actually, I want to take a look at The Captain's Out to Lunch again. Okay. Man, I feel like I'm drowning over here, guys. Oh. Bukowski. Oh my God, that was the ice machine. We got some Rollins in here. Okay, and then we have a bunch of these books, which are amazing. I want to read the William S. Burroughs stuff again. That got me all excited. Let me see. How am I going to do this here? Okay, let me do it like that. And then push these in. And put these down here. That works. We can do that. So what else is going on, guys? I know this was a lot of me showing you books, but what else is shaking over there in your neck of the woods? What's happening? Let me see here. Got this. Okay, so some of these I am going to put in here. Okay, so we'll keep these out, keep that out, maybe keep these out. Actually, I'm going to leave Dream Poems out, or Dream Songs. I haven't read that in a little bit. How did I get all of these books out of this box and now there's no room? And I have a bunch out. That's really fucking weird. Okay, I don't understand what I have done here. I'm very confused. Okay. Okay, this is filled to the brim, as they say. Okay, that's fine. We can do it like that. Put the lid on it. Oh my gosh, what a mess I'm making. Okay, so yeah, so that's it. Those are all of the books that I have here at the minute. So that's exciting, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so Bukowski Book Club, this week we're going to finish up Septuagenarian Stew, and now that I have my other copy of it, I'll be giving this one away. So watch for that video. and we'll be doing a giveaway on that. Or maybe we'll do it before. I don't know. We'll do a giveaway doing that. I have I'm recording another Bukowski podcast episode that's more of a Q&A episode. So if you have any questions about Bukowski that you've never asked or whatever, either leave those in the comments of this video or email them to me. England defeats Spain in women's Euro final. Football. Wow. Congrats. Was it close? So we'll be doing that. Oh, and there's another really surprising episode coming up shortly. If you're in the members stream, or if you're a member of the channel, you already know probably. But I'm also going to be on the Slee Ricketts podcast here in a couple weeks. So if you follow Slee Ricketts, keep your eye out for that. It should be within the next 2 weeks, maybe the next episode. I'm not 100%. 3-1 penalties. Nice. And then, just get over to igg.me/@/Seasons of the Muse if you want to take a look at the new campaign for my new collection of poetry, and you will get an art print. When you do the thing, you could get the book, the audio book, the ebook. You get an art print. You get a very, very limited run chapbook of poems that didn't make it into the book. Plus, you have the ability to do add-ons to get like all the art print cards, and even get the actual original paintings that are in the book. So it'll be super, super cool. It's my biggest poetry collection yet. It's like 350 pages. It's going to be awesome. So, and just hit me up if you guys have any questions about anything, or if you want to send a question in to the Q&A episode. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Thanks for hanging out with me. I have to wash my hands right now. I'm about to have a weird dust-filled allergy panic attack. So do's the thing, and I'll talk to y'all later, okay? See ya.